Enforcement Committee, January 6, 2016 order. First order of business is approval of the minutes for the December meeting. Do I have a motion to approve, or is there any changes or alterations?
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, minutes passed. Number 3, discussion of team inspections, take any action as necessary. So, Karen, you have anything?
I may have one coming up. I'm playing phone tag with the tenant. It's a Green Street property, and the landlord is Bob Roden.
111?
I want to say 124 or something.
Oh.
It's a Green Street property. I don't recall the
red one?
number. I don't know. Haven't been there yet.
124 is red.
And the complaints just are all over the place, so I think that would be a good team one.
All right, I got called out to 20 Edgewood Street by police and fire yesterday morning. That's in a condemned house that people had moved out. We had boarded up, but it's one of those houses that keep getting broken into. Water pipes were broken. Water was filled the basement. And I added it to the list that it's going to be demolished if it's not restored. So if there's any other properties that need to be added to that list, anybody thinking of anything? Off the top of my head, I'm thinking of 97 Prospect and 71 Divinity. But if anybody has any other ones, we can add that to that list and do a group inspection or whatever's needed. I can see if we get any action by the owners, banks, whatever. Is there any other ones that anybody wants to bring up? Rob?
I don't have any.
No?
Nope.
Tom?
Nope.
Nope? Okay. Let's go to number 4. Discussion of new properties of interest in our concerned committee members. Again, I did a restoration or demolition list. I have 7 on there right now, 2 more are in the wing. If there's any properties, Karen brought one up about Green Street. Anything else? Dave, do you have anything?
No, not for this list, no.
Everybody's a little hungover from the holiday weekend. All right, that's good. Number 5, new business. Any new business by committee members? No? Tim?
No. In the water right now.
Update on sidewalk and snow removal clearing. What we've decided on is the Public Works is going to attempt to get to sidewalks that need to be cleared. If the police get a complaint, then we're going to funnel the complaints to Joe Monet. And we have his email address and his phone number. If anybody interested, it's Joseph Monet at Bristol.gov. It's on the website. And then the phone number we have is 860-584-7792, extension 110. Does that sound right, Dave?
Extension 104.
104.
Or you could call dispatch at 584-7791.
Dispatch. So if Public Works gets overloaded, if we have a big snowstorm and they can't get to it, there's 2 contractors that were awarded contracts for snow removal. And at that point, either Public Works or my office will contact them to do the removal. But we'll work with, whoever calls from the police department. Michelle knows about it, and we'll send the complaints over.
I just have a question, private property or apartment buildings, things like that, Public Works. Are we still going to contact you and have you do it through a private contractor?
No, we're going to go right to Public Works for now.
So even apartment buildings where it's private property, the Public Works will still do it?
As long as it's a public street.
Well, if it's, I'm talking about like means of egress. We had a couple issues last year. The snow was piling up at means of egress.
No, we'll do that. That's separate. That's just this public sidewalk.
So if I contact you, you can funnel it to wherever it needs to go?
Right,
Okay.
yeah. Sure.
Is there going to be chargebacks on that? If Public Works goes out and clear, are we charging back the homeowner for the time?
Yeah.
Then I think, Dave, if you agree that we should get this stuff documented in the database so that we have a record of it.
That's a good idea.
So in that respect, you could either come through my office or call dispatch to get it entered into the database so that we have a record of when the call came in. So I'm assuming this is after the time has gone by. Do we make some kind of attempt to contact the owner first, or?
Well, the police will leave a warning. There really doesn't, there's how many hours? It's only like 8 hours or something, right? I didn't bring the rag with me, but it's a very short time period where people have to clear it. If they don't...
Like 8 hours after the snow stops?
Right, yeah. The police usually go and they contact people if someone's home. If not, they'll leave a notice. But...
They'll do a report, too. I mean, if they're going to issue an infraction or a warning, they usually do a report. So there'll be some documentation.
Okay, so you'll be the one doing the infraction?
The police department will, yeah.
Right.
If they make contact that day and find the owner.
Okay. I just want to make sure I understand the process. If
Yeah,
we're going to be
and
doing the chargeback.
we had a meeting with Walt.
Oh, okay, well then,
Yeah.
nobody told me, that's okay.
And Walt was clear he wants to go with Joe Monet, so I don't know how you're going to record it. Joe's going to send Michelle the cost of the clearing, and she's going to do the billing for it through
Okay.
our office.
Guy, what do we do on the 3 families? 3
Burn them
family,
down.
4 family?
We're just going to burn them down.
Okay. I mean, there's going to be a bunch I'm going to run into.
You mean the sidewalks? or
The whole thing. I mean, the fact that they won't rear the rear porches, all that stuff. I know we're concentrating on the sidewalks, but now I'm going to get calls because they won't clear their rear staircases or the front staircases, whatever the case may be.
Well, the clearing of the egresses is under the property maintenance code. So we're going to do it with a private contractor under the property maintenance code. But if there's imminent danger, then we don't have to wait. We'll give them a warning, get it cleared by tomorrow. If it's not cleared, then we'll send one of the guys out to clear it.
So if I get a hold of an owner, how long I tell him he's got?
24 hours, I would say that.
4 hours.
4 hours? Okay.
It's a means of egress.
If
It's
it's
4
an
hours.
Alright,
egress,
4
it's 4.
Well, you're not going to go back. Are you going to go back in 4 hours? Or are you going to call me to go back in 4 hours?
I'd probably go back just to see if he
Yeah.
showed up.
Friday afternoon. And
If it's Friday afternoon, I'm calling you.
yeah. All right, let's do that then. Any more questions on snow removal? All right, we're going to do an update on the hoarding task force. Anne Marie met with a group of code enforcement officials, and she has handouts. So do you want to go over this quickly?
I don't think I need to read them, do I?
No, it's just that you met, right?
Yeah,
And,
we met on the 16th, so there's minutes and there's kind of a tip sheet that we handed out to everybody. I think the consensus is that we're going to mirror Bridgeport's draft. They've got a lot of really good stuff in their protocol.
All right.
So I agreed to put it together by next month's meeting.
Okay.
And then everybody can take a look at the draft and make any changes.
All right. And the reason, for anybody who wasn't here last month, the reason the task force was formed was when we get a complaint and we approach a property, a lot of times there's mental issues with people who are hoarders. And first we have to establish that it really is a hoarding issue. And then, because the fire department just sends everything to us. But once it's established as a hoarding issue, there's a certain protocol that other towns and cities have developed, and instead of us making the problem worse, Anne Marie has done a little research on it, and it's come up with an approach that takes into account the mental health issues.
We had Marissa from, where is she?
Wheeler Clinic?
manager of Wheeler Clinic's crisis team. So she'll be our go-to person if we need to have some kind of mental health intervention. Because that really isn't, it shouldn't be through health, it shouldn't be through Karen, it shouldn't be through me. But if we have a communicated, coordinated effort, then we know when we need to bring her in. And she's 24/7, she's available, according to what she says.
Yeah. Well, we're not here 24/7.
But those calls that come in on
Yeah.
Friday afternoon,
Well, Friday afternoon.
we can
But-
call Marissa.
Yeah.
She'll come out.
Well, and the other thing too, and Karen and I have talked about this extensively, that mental health issue needs to be addressed more, and Karen's part of this committee, so she'll probably be talking about that. But I know in working with Wheeler Clinic in the past, the unfortunate part is, you know, they'll make some efforts to go out there, leave their business card, but if they're not going to get any response from the owner or the person living there, they don't really go any further with it.
Well, this gal told us that she would do follow-up case management and treatment plans.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so, because we really pushed for it.
Good.
I think because they added it to the DSM-5 and it's actually hoarding as a mental health condition now. that
Maybe they have more
people-
funding for
yeah,
it or
I think-
something, or-
Yeah, and I
Good.
think that came out of the meeting that we went to back in May. They're supposed to do a follow-up training in March, so we'll probably get more info on it then. But yeah, she was very responsive. I mean, I thought she was good. She gave us a lot
And
of
they are
info.
looking, and you probably know this, they are looking at doing another hoarding class in...
Is that where we got this?
Yeah. With someone, the speaker last year, Dr., I forget his name, he was the keynote speaker, so he spoke for maybe a couple hours.
Right.
And then there were other people that were kind of filled up the space. This time what they're going to do is they're going to have an expert in the field do the whole entire day. So I think it'll be a little bit more technical and useful to those of us that are out in the field.
One of the things that came out of our meeting too, this resource binder has a lot of tip sheets that I think fire and police might benefit from, actual pictures of conditions, like levels of hoarding. So we talked about maybe disseminating some of that to fire and to police, just so that it's a little bit easier to discern whether it's a hoarding condition or just clutter or a dirty person.
Right. And eventually you'll probably be the experts on what a hoarding issue is, so if one of your lieutenants or captains or deputy chiefs thinks there's something, you can probably check it out and then get the group together if it needs to be. And we discussed the different levels. If there's a hoarding issue in a single family, and it's like we found over on West Washington Street, where you can't see anything from the outside, that's different than one where it's in an apartment building and it's affecting other residents, and we have to act a little more quickly. So just trying to sort all that out, but this is great. I did a lot of work on it. Thank you. It looks good. Mayor, do you have anything to add? No?
Okay. Just to go, because that's what's going to happen more often than not. You know, they're going to get there, they're going to look at it, they're going to think, you know, maybe this is, maybe it's not. And then I'm going to get the note, you know, and Bob's going to get the note that says this could possibly be. Now, the only thing I questioned there when I gave you guys the heads up was, who's the first one to go? You took the reins then. My whole scenario is, do I go take a quick look and then get a hold of you guys? If that's what you want, that's fine. Or do I just do what
Well,
I
you
did?
weren't available that day. That's all. The only reason why I went, were you in training or something? Or there was some reason why you couldn't
Yeah.
go? Yeah. So, you know, one of the task force, if I can't go, then someone else, like Tom, would go, or Karen, or, you know, just to do an initial look. But how you would set the guidelines for...
If we're going to mirror what Bridgeport does, we would probably have a phone call to the person before they see a bunch of officials standing outside their building. That was one of the big things, is trying not to meet. And we've done it,
Right.
you know, where we've met on the sidewalk, and
Yeah.
you're not going to gain entry that way.
It's going to be hard to break that.
Yeah, if it is a mental
habit.
health intervention, you're not going to gain.
They didn't answer the
access.
door at the
Right, and the scenario was that
Yeah.
they looked through the windows and saw what they thought could have been that scenario.
Oh.
That was the reason, you know, so they said the same thing to me as far as the outside was fine. It was when they looked through the windows and they saw that
Oh.
stuff was piled
Yeah.
up. And I asked him, I said, well, is this piled up or does it look like it's got? He goes, no, it possibly could be, so that's why I got it.
Yeah, I'm not saying there isn't a hoarding issue here,
No.
but it's a single-family house, we can't gain entry, there's nothing on the exterior, so it kind of kicks it out right now, because,
Right.
you know, legally, we don't have a right to...
So all we can do is make a referral to Wheeler.
Yeah, if we think, but I don't think we even have enough evidence to do that.
No,
really.
no.
But, you know, so, but we'll just go case by case, and eventually we'll get it down. Any more on that? More hoarding? No? Old business? Any old business? Committee members, anybody want to bring anything up? Water disconnects? Oh, you're very quiet today.
No, we don't have much going on. Everything's paying the bills, so it makes it easy.
Whoa.
Going back to new business or new inspections, I forgot about one. And Tom and I briefly talked about it. I talked with Public Works about it. I don't know the address, but it's on West Washington. It's about the second or third house up from Frederick Street. It's got a sinkhole in the driveway with a cone in it, and it's been there.
Wasn't that was there last fall, wasn't it?
It's been there for like 2 years, and now the condos across the street had approached us about sinkholes there as well. I don't know if there's an old drain line or something there, but I mean, it's down a good foot in the middle of the driveway.
And that wasn't in the public, we went through this last year, I think, that it's not in the public...
It's not in the public driveway.
Private.
Yeah, it's a private one, so I don't know.
I don't think we've ever done anything with a sinkhole in there. What ordinance would even cover that? It's just an unsafe... But we'll have to go take that, yeah. I'm sure there's got to be a file on that address. Anything else? Dave?
A complaint through the West End Association. Complaint is Joe Gelovino. Complaint about garbage curbside. He said that there were several houses on Divinity Street. Complained about 116 and 71 having mattresses and other stuff. I happened to notice that 116 was cleared out, was cleaned up already, and he didn't have other addresses. I could drive by and get you addresses if you want.
Yeah, Dave will probably...
or if he wants to drive down the street. Just
that reminds me, Dave, 141 Morningside Drive West. There's one of those contractor bags that you get at Home Depot that you fill up, they're supposed to take out. It's been at the curb. I left a note there the other day. They never called back. So, yeah, I don't know if you have a warning on that.
Did not.
No?
Wasn't aware of that one. We can send them a letter.
Yeah, if you do, then and if they don't clean it up, we'll get it out of there. Any other issues? Ms. Lacy?
Park and Divinity, Sexto, Nazir, and this is
71 Divinity?
71 Divinity.
No.
No.
78? 78.
Park. 78 Park.
That's what it was.
I guess the PD was out, and they were concerned about the ice forming in the street, and gave Sexto a warning.
Wow. Oh, that's what that's...
Yes.
Okay. Debbie Shapiro's working on a grant to get the connection.
Oh, really? Okay.
Right.
I wasn't aware of that. But it is an icy condition. Somebody's
Right.
going to get hurt.
Well, I issued the order to the contractor, and he hasn't done anything. So tell me what to do.
I suppose we could go after the homeowner.
Is this the one with the water coming through the
Right.
fence or through the
Through the
wall?
retaining wall, yeah.
And it's not Rob's
It's
water.
like a natural spring.
Not
Not all water. Tested.
Retaining wall.
Tested.
It's going all the way down.
They have hoses in the backyard, what I see now. So now the water is icing up the backyard and the driveway.
Correct.
That was yesterday's.
Well, if it was up to me, I'd just hire a contractor, install the drain, and then you could decide who you want to leave. because it's a public safety issue, and it's going to go on and on and on. And then once it's installed and they have liens out on everybody, then they can fight about who is the responsible person in court. And if Debbie comes through with a grant, maybe we can apply that to her.
I'll talk to her.
I mean, that's my 2 cents. For what it's worth. Justin?
Yeah, I had just a few minor issues. 255 Main Street, the Curtis Building, they've been keeping their dumpster on the sidewalk for some time now. I have a feeling it's going to be an issue when people are trying to walk on the sidewalk, especially when there's snow on the ground.
Yeah, no, it's not supposed to be. Do you know anything about that, Dave?
So maybe, well, if somebody could ask them to put it back. 11 Summers dumpster is a little bit on the sidewalk too. It kind of drifts. Maybe they could put theirs back. And at 122 High Street, their dumpster has overflowed a few times. Now they have a mattress and some chairs lying next to it from the last time it overflowed. I think if that sticks around for too long, it'll be covered in snow. Maybe somebody could let them know about that. But then I did have one issue I wanted to ask about. At the BDA meeting last month, they brought up the condition of the sidewalks on Summer Street. And they said it was blighted, and they wanted to use some grant money to do sidewalk repairs. I'm not sure I understand exactly, but I thought that maybe sidewalks the cost was the responsibility of the landowner. I was just wondering if you guys ever go around checking on the sidewalks or having people
no, we don't
fix them from time to
have
time?
that jurisdiction. But
I can talk to the BDA. That was CDBG money that we reprogrammed, just like we did in the West End last couple of years. We pick an area that we could really do a significant amount of work with the money we have. And we chose to do Summer Street because Summer Street is in a depressed area, and the money through CDBG, which is federal money, gets applied towards putting in new sidewalks in that street. We don't have enough to do the whole street, but Public Works, I believe Public Works is going to be able to apply for another grant to finish the street.
Well, who decides which sections are done?
As far as CDBG money,
Yeah.
that would be a better portion to target towards Justin Malley,
Oh, okay.
the director of BDA.
But then in general, outside of this money, does the town ever look at sidewalks and have them fixed up, and how is that normally handled? I'm sorry if this isn't a code enforcement committee issue, I can go somewhere else, but I just don't know about it.
Public Works, right?
We do have a sidewalk inspector in Public Works, and he will respond if there are safety complaints, and the process is typically to notify the homeowner, because the homeowner is responsible. The abutting homeowner is responsible for the sidewalks. We do have a residential sidewalk repair program that does some cost sharing if it's funded. I'm not sure what the status of the funding is at the current moment, but if somebody needs to make repairs and can't afford it, there are some options to do cost sharing with the city.
What if we see sidewalks that are really bad? Do we
Funnel
let
through
Bob know?
to Bob Booton, let him know, and he can go out and do the investigation and notification to the owner.
Judge Street. Judge Street, yeah. I got the 106 Judge Street.
There's not really a ton of teeth in it. I mean, he'll send the letter and he'll say, you know, you have to, and there's an issue, and...
Well, would we ever have them installed and then leave the property for that?
That's what I mean about the teeth. I don't think they've been going that far to, not that they couldn't. I think they'd be within their right to do that. I just don't think it's been common practice.
I've been asking for sidewalks on Summer Street for a few years now, and Justin had to have Summer Street. I might be, yeah. Justin had to have Summer Street designated. It had to have certain designation, like a state designation, some kind of target area, like the West End had. And he finally got it, and he said that sidewalks could come in later this year, in late summer. or something like that, so hopefully it does happen. And the problem with the single homeowner having that cost-sharing program, they cover 50% with the homeowner. The problem is you'll never get all the property owners to agree and do it at the same time. You'll have a single piece of sidewalk, and then you'll have poor sidewalks on both sides.
Right, and that's where, if there's ordinances, you gotta maintain the sidewalk. I know other towns, usually, they go over to, after that block, the grant money and have the sidewalks done using that.
Every year, we take a portion of the CDBG money and put it towards sidewalk. Next year, we're not going to be doing it in front of Dave's house, though, everywhere else.
That's that one sidewalk.
We like hearing from him.
Guy, the dumpster at 11 Summer and the sidewalk there, I've reported it to Public Works a couple times. The sidewalk problem there, when somebody inspects it, you're going to see how bad it is not from the water department. It was from a contractor that ran the water services. He never actually did the sidewalk. He left the coal patch, and it's down.
In front of 11 Summer?
And that's from 2 years ago. And the dumpster's kind of sitting on top of it in some aspects.
I had
Hold the patch snow.
I had spoken to the owner of 11 Summer last year. I believe his name was John Snow.
Pat Snow.
And Pat Snow, he said that he told me that was in the works for sidewalk repair. He said something about he paid a bond to the city or something. It was bonded, and eventually it would be done, but I don't know what any of that means.
He may have applied for the residential program, and it could be that it wasn't funded.
I think it might be that the contractor pulled the bond to open with the water services, and then under the city's repair program with the paving and all that, it's when it would get done. It just never got
All right, I'll
addressed.
follow up like Jeff.
Before somebody sees it and says, oh, there's a water service here, it's a water department. Not us.
I think, too, when he got a CO, he had to have the sidewalk in, and he couldn't get it done for whatever reason, weather or whatever, so it was bonded for that, and no one's just followed up on it, so I'll find out what's going on with the sidewalk.
Oh, so the CEO, one of the conditions was that he
The
would do
sidewalk
the
would have to
sidewalk.
be in good shape for him to get a CO. So
Oh, okay.
that's probably what the bond's there for.
Whoever goes out and speaks to 255 Main and 11 Summer about the dumpster, it would make a huge amount of sense if you could suggest that they share a dumpster. They have a shared driveway, and they have two dumpsters only because when Bristol Property Management had 255, they couldn't, they wouldn't work with each other. And now a new owner has 255, I don't know his name. It would, whoever talks to them, suggesting sharing.
Do you do dumpsters, Dave, or do you?
If it's overflowing dumpsters, we get involved, material on the ground.
Yeah.
It's a private thing, of course, but if you can suggest, it would make a lot of sense if they were to have a conversation and share a dumpster.
Yeah, well, can't,
Karen, too, I think. You might notice.
Well, getting back to the dumpster, I was going to say, 122 is a vacant house, so that they should not be using that dumpster. I think the owner...
That's 116.
Yes.
116, 122. I see sometimes they have a white cargo van that will dump off garbage there.
Yeah.
I assume from another location
That's exactly
because they
what
own
they're doing.
other...
What I'm going to do is reissue an order for that property, and then every time we see it overflowing, we can do citations. I'm also going to reissue an order for 267 Main Street. I was out there yesterday, and the alley, again, is a mess. I'd have pictures with crap all over the place.
Karen, can you, in your order, ask that the dumpster be removed from 122 High Street since it's a vacant house?
I can check on that.
That takes care of your problem.
Right. I'll check on that, if the language allows me to do that.
Especially if it's being used with no one living there.
Right. I was frequently going by, and they were doing well, and so the second you stop, they go right back to filling it up. So I'm going to reissue orders, and if I can have that removed, that's a good idea.
Last time we went to court with them too,
Yep.
having to go there and dumpster, but I was thinking it was 116.
And maybe you at the same time could reach out to their attorney and ask them if they would voluntarily just remove the dumpster.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Carry,
Yeah.
Is it CWPM? the dumpster, you know?
I don't know.
We can reach out to them too. If they're not getting paid for it, vacant house, you know, try contacting them, see if they can just come and get it.
Okay. I'll drive by on my way back to the office and see what company it is.
Maybe just send Kerry Roberge a letter directly.
Yeah, that would make his day.
Yeah. All right, any other issues?
You want an update on Talon?
Yes,
Mhm.
that would be good, thank you.
2 out of 3 families have signed leases and are in their new apartment.
Oh, good.
Good job.
Got 1 left to go.
Thank you.
We need a 3-bedroom. That's the problem. And they're not readily available. But we're working on it. She's pulling her weight now, and we're getting there.
And the last time we talked to you, you thought you had everything moved out, so there should
Everything's
be
out.
any
The
there.
building
So
should be completely.
I'm gonna, we'll go by there today, actually, and any debris in the yard, I'm gonna issue an order to have it cleaned up.
Are all those couches still in the back?
I think so.
Yeah.
So,
Is it boarded up yet, or is it?
not yet.
Just let me know when you want it off. Because
All right,
whether we're
I want it
getting-
off.
You want it off? Yeah.
I got one question, guy. And this may have been on one of your demolition orders. The house on the corner of Russ Lane and Wolcott Street, boarded up 3-family,
59.
59. Was that one of your demolition orders?
Yes, and
Okay.
this guy Vance Taylor, realtor, broker,
Yep.
called me and said that the person who's buying the Bristol Press building, or bought the Bristol Press building,
Okay, yeah.
it's a Oriental name.
Yeah.
He bought that property for his employees when he begins his electronics business. And supposedly some employees were going to live in that house. So I made it clear, I said, well, he has to restore it. You just can't buy a house and leave it like that. Because it's been broken into, it's falling apart in
Mhm.
places. So he said he's going to tell him that, but I said, the deadline's the deadline.
Right, good.
You know, if you don't start restoration in 60 days, then it's going to get demolished.
Good.
And that restoration, 60 days, and then I issue the order, then it takes them another 60 days to get all the utilities shut off and, the water department off their back.
It's your contractor that does the disconnects, remember that.
Anything else?
Graffiti.
Graffiti.
Graffiti showing up again.
Jeez.
Bob.
Where's Bob? See, Mayor? It's not me. Everybody wants Bob back.
Bob.
I'm working on my budget to get that part-timer back that took care of that. He did a good job. And was able to monitor it. We get going on so many issues. Right now, if Monica would be responsible for the graffiti, and Tom probably, and there's just so many things going on that and we're not going to clean it. He ended up cleaning it because he's not under any union thing a lot of times, so it worked out real well.
You want to just email?
I can forward you some locations. Yeah, I got about 5 different spots.
Okay, Mars. Is one of them Mars on Mountain Road?
I didn't see that one.
See, that one is Stafford Ave, that hit Stafford Ave.
Yeah, yes, I saw that one.
Yeah.
You can have you guys clean it up?
Stafford Ave.
Anything else? You have a motion to adjourn before anybody opens their mouth?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. See the address of the town.